Hello, my black and white brothers. Welcome to my channel. I'm Alpha Anime. This is What If Deku was the son of Tatsumaki and Mob Part 5. I think. Hopefully. Maybe. Okay, yes. Whew. Okay. Posted What If Deku had 9 abilities, Part 3 this morning, or afternoon, whatever time it is for you. Whew. Okay, let's get back on the grind. I'm so tired. Oh, and by the way, sorry if you hear anything in the background. It's raining and it's a lightning storm or rainstorm, whatever. I don't know. Whatever. But if you hear background, I'm sorry about that. So, yeah. Whew, okay, let's go. Where we left off, Deku had just beat the race of the sports festival. Bakugo was kinda pissed, but then he sucked it up like a big boy and shut his mouth. Yeah, so he won, and then it's announced that Deku got 1 million points, and then from the top, Tatsumaki said, "Hey, this thing is frickin' rigged." Mob says, "Well, yeah, no shit. Did you see what our boy did? This guy went past the speed of sound like it was nothing." Tatsumaki says, "Well, I do that on a daily. He's not that special." Mom just looks at him, looks at her, saying, "You know he's our son, right?" Oh my god. Tatsumaki says, "Fine, I surrender to your stupid will." Mob says, "Yay, I win." Everyone just looks at them from the side, saying, "I'm sure these people aren't children or something." Deku, after being called out for getting the most points, realized that he's probably not gonna get a lot of people on his team. Or at least that's what he did think until everyone came for him. Because, if you haven't noticed, Deku has something called a frickin' force field. So everyone swarmed Deku, saying, "Can I be in your group? Can I be in your group? Can I be in your group?" So everyone except like Todoroki, Ida, Bakugo, they didn't want to join because they saw him as rivals or something. Deku asked them, "Hey, guys, why don't be in my group so bad? You know we're gonna have to run the entire time, right?" They all said, "But you have a force field." Deku says, "Oh, I forgot I had that." Everyone proceeds to facepalm the heck out of their poor foreheads, as Deku realizes that he basically has to stay in one place. Deku realizes that he has basically a rem that is swarming him. They all want to be in his group, so now he has to live with picking 4 of them. But he then does this. He goes up to Midnight and asks, "Hey Midnight, can I be alone?" Midnight said, "Okay, but it'll probably be much harder for you." Deku says, "Not really." Midnight says, "Well, okay, you can be alone if you want." When the girls swore him, he says, "Sorry guys, I'm gonna be alone." Midnight said that I'm allowed to do that. The girls are pissed, but then they don't do anything because what exactly are they gonna do to the boy that literally has a force field surrounding him at all times and can compress buildings? But they know that he's not gonna attack them, so they still have some kind of power over him. So they blow the whistle, and then everyone starts going for Deku. Deku starts dodging, and everyone's like, "Oh, maybe the giant force field is making it hard for him to use his normal ones." And then they start going for him more intensely. Deku says, "Well, time to get serious." Then he sits down crisscross, and then Bakugo and Todoroki go for him, saying, "No, Bakugo goes for him, saying, 'You useless Deku, are you underestimating us?'" Deku says, "Kinda." Todoroki says, "That'll be your downfall." Deku says, well, not really, cause I can fly, so why would I fall down when I can fly? Todoroki frowns and then sends an ice barrier at Deku. Deku stays still. And as soon as the ice tries to make contact with Deku, Deku instantly creates a force field that blocks it. And he says, well, I guess I should stop underestimating you then. So he just keeps the force field on, and everyone starts attacking the force field at once. Deku puts up a middle finger saying, if anyone can break this barrier, I will literally give you my headband and forfeit. Bakugo and Todoroki say, that was a mistake. Both of them work together saying, if we're gonna beat this useless Deku's stupid force field, we're gonna need to work together for now. Todoroki says, fine. They both start attacking it at once, and Deku just starts laughing, saying, wow, it takes me to make both of you work together? That's hilarious. Deku then says, well, I guess that if I have enough time, I should just do this. He snaps his fingers, and then Todoroki and Bakugo's teams are sent flying from either way of the entire Coliseum. I think like Mina goes up or something. At some point, I'm pretty sure one of them hit a grandma. Yeah, but they're basically scattered. Midnight says that they won't be disqualified if they get back into formation in the next 30 seconds. So they get back into formation. Deku says, 3, 2, 1. Now the cavalry battle is over. Deku says, well, looks like I win. He then gets up and walks away. Both Todoroki and Bakugo are super pissed that even when they brought themselves down to work with each other, they still couldn't beat Deku. So for simplicity's sake, all the teams are gonna be the same. Or everyone that gets into the thing is gonna be the same. So yeah. So the matches go the same, and now it's wait, no. Deku versus Shinso was first, right? It was always first. Deku versus Shinso, they both get on the podiums, and then not podiums, onto the arena, and then Midnight yells, go! As soon as this happens, Deku starts walking towards Shinso, and Shinso starts talking about how his quirk is so good and all that stuff. Then, when Deku's about halfway in there, Shinso says, well, having two pro heroes at your parents must be amazing. Deku rebuttals, did you not hear a freaking word I said in my freaking speech? Shinso says, gotcha. Deku's eyes start to, Deku's pupils leave his eyes. And then Shinso says, why don't you just walk out of the arena like a good little hero? Deku starts obliging and just starts walking. Mob and Tatsumaki are amazed and they're like, wow. Shh, our son's about to lose. Well, no. Tatsumaki says that, but then Mob says, oh no. He's just awoken something that no one wants to see. Tatsumaki says, you don't mean. As soon as she says this, Deku is about to walk out of the arena when there's a sudden gigantic flash of light going upwards, coming from Deku's position. When they look back at where Deku is, they see that there's just some kind of black being right there. Not black like that. I mean like literally black, as in okay, just imagine him as the embodiment of hate. Like if you watched Hunter x Hunter, basically Gon's transformation. His eyes are completely white and his body is just like white scribbles with energy coming off him. But this time his energy isn't colorful, it's completely white, black and white. Ominous wind is coming off Deku, enough to blow away any bystanders that were even close. Shinso himself might be knocked out by the pure power of the wind coming off Deku. Deku looks at Shinso. Shinso is in fear. Deku takes a step, and then the entire arena, I'm pretty sure it's called arena, or whatever they're standing on, just cracks like a gigantic crack. With every step, a little bit of the arena is coming off, just starting to float. Everyone is looking at Deku in fear. Even Baku and Todoroki are like, "What the is going on here?" Tatsumaki says, "Shh, he's gonna kill him." Mob says, "I know. I'm gonna go try and stop it, but I'm gonna need your help. He's as powerful as both of us right now, even more powerful than both of us at this point. He could easily beat me right now." Deku runs. Oh no, not Deku. Both of them fly over to stop Deku from literally just basically blowing up Shinso from the frickin' inside out. Tatsumaki, while they're rushing over there, says, when you were in that form, you gave me a serious run for my money." Mob says, "Yeah, that's basically just my embodiment of anger or sadness put into one, and it takes its own form, so he's not thinking straight right now. His last memory was probably him thinking of, I need to beat Shinso. So now this form is gonna try and complete that, but he's gonna go overboard." They land in the arena and both of them combine a force field to stop Deku. Deku notices this and touches the barrier, instantly just shattering it. Tatsumaki and Mob were amazed by the sheer power. They then look at Shinso and say, "Yo, you need to step out of the ring immediately." Shinso says, "But I'll lose." And then they say, "Well, you'll die if you don't. Pick one." Shinso says, "Well, I pick survival." He then swan dives off the frickin' arena, landing face first on purpose, saying, "Well, I'm alive now, so that's good." Deku then, since what he wanted to accomplish is over, Deku starts going back into his normal form, and when he goes into it, he's instantly knocked out. Because when you when you become the pure embodiment of anger and rage and sadness, it's kind of mentally and physically taxing. So when he's actually back in his normal form, he collapses instantly. Mob Tatsumaki says, "Well, we need to teach him how to control that form." But Mob says after that, "Well, good luck. I don't even know how to control that form." It just tries to accomplish whatever his last challenge was. So if he goes into that and he's not fighting a villain, he's just sparring someone, they're most likely gonna die. Tatsumaki says, "Well, this is a dilemma." So now the entire crowd is very afraid of Deku. Even Bakugo and Todoroki are like, "Oh my god, I don't want to get him in that form, because being alive is one of my top priorities." So even everyone in Class 1A is very, very afraid of Deku. Apart from the harem, actually, because they are just more googly eyes at Deku. Kaminari and Mineta said, Did you guys not just see what Deku did? He almost ripped Shinso apart. He even destroyed his parents' force field, who are the number 2 and number 3 heroes, like it was nothing. And they did the force fields at the same time. Are you afraid that he's not gonna kill you by accident? They say. They don't, no, they don't even say anything. They just keep looking at Deku, saying, "Hey, he's our boyfriend." Tatsumaki and Mob hear this, and then they're like, "Oh, he did go with it. Oh, kill me, but don't though." So when all that happens, for some reason, the heroes say, "Well, it's fine. As long as he doesn't go into that form again, he can still participate." Which is kind of a dumb move on their part, because if he goes into that form again, they're not gonna be able to do anything. All Might is also gonna get his ham handed to him by a child that is 14 when he is over 30. So safe to say that Deku is most likely the strongest person on Earth right now. Oh, my chest. Deku wakes up in the infirmary and says, "What the happened? Why am I here? What last I remember was me about to force slam Shinso into the wall." What's that? Oh, yeah. Recovery Girl says, "Well, you are probably gonna do much more than that if your parents hadn't instructed Shinso on what to do." Deku says, "What do you mean?" She then explains that he basically became the embodiment of anger, fear, sadness. I don't know the emotions. He just became the embodiment of all bad emotions, and then he almost killed Shinso. So yeah, he says, "I have never gone into that form before. What the Mob and Tatsumaki walk in, saying, "Well, you're probably gonna go into it more often now that you know it exists. Most of the time, it's not gonna be on purpose, so yeah." Deku says, "Well, I wasn't even angry. I just think that when my body sensed that I was in danger, that it turned me into that." Because he saw a recording of what happened. They say, "Well, that should be easy to do. That should be much easier to control than just pure emotion." Deku says, "Yeah, true." After that, the matches go the same. Now it's Deku versus Todoroki. Todoroki comes on, and Deku comes on, and then Midnight says, "Fight!" Shinto immediately tries to... You know what he did to Saro in the original anime? Yeah, he does that, but times 3. Deku uses his force field, and all you see is the thing shatter. Just absolutely shattered. Deku just starts walking over to Todoroki, saying, "You're never gonna beat me if you don't use your power. If you don't use your fire." Todoroki says, "I'm not gonna use that old bat. I'm not allowed to say that word. That old man's power." Deku says, "Well, people like you really sicken me. We're all over here trying our hardest to be the best when guys like you over here have so much potential, but you're just wasting it by only using half your power. What absolute and total bullcrap. How about you stop being a little bitch and you actually use your power like the rest of us?" Todoroki has a flashback for some reason, and he starts being ignited by the flames. When this happens, Todoroki says, "How much did my dad pay you?" Deku says, "None, but I do accept tips." Todoroki chuckles at this and says, well, Deku, thanks." Deku says, "No problem, now I can actually fight." Deku takes a step and uses his force powers. Really? Sorry, Discord. Deku steps down, as in he stamps his foot, and then you just see the entire left half, or no, the entire right half of the the arena blow up. Just a flat boom. Really, Discord? Not the freaking time. After this, Todoroki uses his ice to glide across the right side, going to the left side, and starts shooting fire at Deku. Deku uses his force field to block, but says, "You know what? How about I make this a very fair fight by not using my force field so you can actually hit me?" Todoroki says, Well, you would be a hypocrite, but if you want to, fine. Deku says, well then I guess I will use my force field then, because being a hypocrite is never a good thing. Deku instantly puts up his force field, and then Todoroki uses his fire and ice at the same time. When it hits Deku's force field, it shatters. But here's the thing. Deku let that happen because he still wanted to make it a fair fight, but didn't want to seem like a hypocrite. Deku says, wow, that's the first time someone has ever shattered my force field. Good job. Todoroki smirked and says there's more where that came from. Deku says, well, that means I'd better take you out fast. Todoroki says, I'd like to see you try. Deku says, well, okay. Then lifted Todoroki up in the air, but Todoroki shot a fire ice blast at him. Deku dodges and then slams Todoroki into the ground, knocking him out. So he wins, the rest of the matches go the same, and now it's time for Bakugo versus Deku. So they call him up, all that stuff that doesn't really matter. Then Midnight says, begin! When she says begin, Bakugo instantly goes in for a howitzer impact. And when he does this, Deku puts up his force field and he's not gonna break it on purpose this time because he wants Bakugo to know his place. Deku easily blocked it, and then Bakugo tried to blitz him. He kicked the force field. Deku then said, that was a mistake. He grabs Bakugo's leg and then throws Bakugo out of the ring using his telekinesis to make sure Bakugo can't come back, winning him the battle. Deku made this one much faster because he wanted to show Bakugo that he needs to learn how to be freaking humble and not be a complete pompous assessment. A pompous assessment. Bruh, I did not just do that. Deku is awarded first place, and then after that, they also had to chain Bakugo, obviously, because this time he even got second place, so now he's even more pissed. And plus, he also has one for all, so he's more. Now he's even more of a pompous assessment here. For a split second, Bakugo actually broke out of the chains. Deku says, oh, no you don't. Pfft. He then put a force field around Bakugo, saying, you know what, nah, I'm not dealing with this today. Bakugo yells and screams from in there, but nothing happens. So yeah, they go back to school the next day, and Aizawa says, okay, now it's time to pick internships, because you were sent internship requests based on how well you performed in the sports festival. They look at Deku, and then they see that the number that they have is over 10,000. Over 15,000. Because I don't know how many exact heroes there are in My Hero Academia, but let's just say that every single hero that saw the sports festival wanted Deku on their side, because when you can put a force field around the giant coliseum that is the sports festival coliseum, and you can also destroy everyone in your path, I'm pretty sure people would very much want you to be on their team. Bakugo and Todoroki say, well, you got your work cut out for you, Deku. Deku says, no, not really. Most likely both of my parents asked to internship me, so I'm just gonna have to pick between them. Everyone is like, oh my god, seriously? That was the one thing that we could win at him at, but he still has a super easy way out. Mr. Aizawa says that would be more work, but then Deku realizes, wait, Mr. Aizawa, did you send me a internship request? Mr. Aizawa says, yes, well, obviously, because did you see what you did at the frickin' Coliseum? Boy, you destroyed everyone. You handed everybody an L while L dancing on them. That's kind of a reason to send a frickin' invitation. Deku says, oh, good. Now I can choose a hero without hurting my parents' feelings. Cause the thing is, if I had picked either one of them, the other one probably. I just walked in. Where was I? Oh yeah. He said, well, if I had picked any of my parents, the other one probably would have attacked my my other parents. So it's kind of like that. And plus, they probably would have doubled my training when the internship was over, so now I have an easy way out. Mr. Aizawa, I would like to internship with you because you're cool and you understand being tired. Mr. Aizawa then said, yeah, don't you forget it. I love Mr. Aizawa. He's the coolest guy ever. He's so chill until he's not. So after that, after they pick their internships, when Deku gets home, his parents confront him and say, so, which one of us are you gonna pick for your internships? Deku says, what do you mean? His parents say, well, we both sent you an invitation, so which one of us are you gonna pick? Deku says, well, neither. The parents say, what do you mean, neither? You're gonna have to pick one of us, because we're the best students to train you. Deku says, well, that might be true. If I pick any of you, both of you, one of you would have obviously doubled my training when the internships are over. So I took the easy way out and asked my normal teacher to train me instead. Both of the parents were tried to object, but then they realized, oh, well, they just took light. Oh, crap. Okay, now I'm back. Sorry, they turned off the energy, so my lights went out. Bra-ta-ta-ta. Oh no, I did not just do that thing. Oh my god. So when they realized that Deku was completely and totally right, they go to dinner. So yeah, that stuff happens, and then so after when they go back to class, Deku goes over to Mr. Aizawa and says, when they go to the internships, Deku goes to Yue and says, hey, Mr. Aizawa, so what are we gonna do first? Mr. Aizawa says, well, I'm gonna teach you hand-to-hand combat. Deku says, well, I already know that. My mom has the power to drain telekinetic energy, so she uses that on me, so I had to learn how to use hand-to-hand combat. So I learned how to use nunchucks. That's my preferred weapon, since it's pretty good. It's close range, and it hits really hard. As Aizawa says, impressive. Amazing quirk, but still has the ability to work without it. Good job. Your parents are smart. Deku says, thanks. Aizawa says, okay, well, let me test out how good you are with those nunchucks of yours. Deku pulls them out and says, my pleasure. They go out to testing ground A and they start sparring. Aizawa beats him 6 out of 10 times. No, not 6. 7 out of 10 times because though Deku is really good with the nunchucks, Aizawa is basically a ninja. He's basically the Kakashi of of My Hero Academia. So Deku's not winning that fight without his telekinesis. Aizawa says, well, you're good, but I'm still going to need to teach you how to use them better. And if you want, I can teach you my scarves. Deku says, yeah, that would be awesome. So for the next week, they learn how to do this stuff. I'm not going to go into detail because it really doesn't matter. So they go into, after that, Mr. Aizawa says, okay, your training has progressed and you seem to know how to use my scarves pretty well. Good. So now you're gonna get some on the work, or on the, what's it called? On the ground training. I really can't remember. Deku says, "Ah, nice." They then go into Hosu and the whole thing pursues. And then Deku says, "Wait." Ida came to Hosu, and I remember him talking about how his brother was taken out by the hero killer Stain. Mr. Aizawa says, "You don't think he..." Deku nods his head and says, and then Aizawa says, "Okay, I give you permission to use your quirk. Go and save him." Deku nods and starts flying all over Hosu, going 5 times the speed of sound, wanting to find and save his friend. Deku's on a rooftop when he sees Ida with Stain on him. Stain rips out the sword from Ida's shoulder and says, "Well, it was nice knowing you." "Not really," and brings it down to cut Ida's head off. But right before the sword makes contact, the sword suddenly shatters. Deku had put a force field around Ida. He then used telekinesis to bring Ida right back to himself. Deku looked at the Stain, and Stain said, "Oh, you must be the son of the number 2 and number 3 hero, or heroes. I can't even call them heroes, they're both fake." Deku said, "What did you just say?" As soon as Stain said those words, Deku instantly went into 100%, with his eyes starting to glow red. Deku said, "What did you say?" He then jumps down from the building and lands with the ground shattering. He looks at Stain and says, "That was a mistake." He then blitzes Stain, with Stain being amazed by this kid's speed, grabs his face, slams him into the ground. That doesn't knock out Stain. Stain tries to cut Deku, but then Deku has a force field up, and Deku says, "That's not gonna work on me." He lifted Stain into the air and twisted him as he made a tornado and put Stain in it. When Deku was done, Stain was knocked out cold, and there was just vomit all over him because not many people can go into a tornado without vomiting. So that stuff happens. Deku says, "That's what you get for calling my parents fake." So all that stuff happens. Deku goes out, since he's still in 100%, since he's pissed that all these Nomus are going and attacking everyone. Deku lifts all of them in the air and says, "Die." He then puts all of them together and crushes them into a tiny ball. He puts that ball in his hand and compresses it even more. So safe to say that all of the Nomus are dead. Dead as a doorknob. Dead as the server I'm gonna make is gonna be. Got him. Self-roast. All the heroes are impressed, and they're like, "I wish he went to my agency." So after that, the police confronts him. He isn't in the hospital, he's just in school. And he says, "Well, we're gonna need to give all that credit to Endeavor, because you weren't given permission to use your quirk." Deku says, "Bullshit." The chief of police says, "Excuse me." Deku says, "Bullshit. Mr. Aizawa, the hero Eraserhead, said I was allowed to do it." The police chief says, "Aizawa, is this true?" Aizawa nods his head, and then that stuff happens, and then it's over. So yeah, they get back into school, and Deku's a legend for taking out the hero killer. And now the girls ambush him right before he's about to enter school, and this is weird, but then Momo made chloroform and put it on a napkin and made Deku go to sleep. Deku wakes up tied to a chair, and he says, "What the fuck happened here?" The girls come out and say, "Oh, we captured you." Deku says, "Well, shh." He then says, "You do know I can break out of this, right?" The girls say that, "Yeah, we know, but if you do, we're not gonna allow you escape." You know what? Why did I turn this into some kind of weird thing? You know, I'm just gonna go with it because someone said they wanted harem. I'm going to go mega harem mode. So Deku says, what do you mean? They then said, well, you're gonna enjoy what's gonna happen. So you know what? I feel like y'all can imagine what happens. So after that, he misses a day of school. They get back to school, and Deku's is tired. He's very, very tired. He can barely walk. All he's doing is floating with his head down. He floats into class when everyone is there, and then they ask, "Hey, where were you yesterday? All the girls were gone as well." Deku says, "I don't want to talk about it." They say, "Okay, well, I definitely don't want to know what happened then." And that's where I'm gonna leave it off, guys. This took a super weird turn very quickly, but you know what? No regrets. So I'm gonna leave it off here, guys. So yeah, stay safe, stay cool, and wear a mask.